We had many troopers from Long Island, New York City, Queens County, as half of the island was called in those days. And what most people don't realize is that when troopers were recruited and trained for the cavalry in 1861, despite the fact that it was the age of the horse and carriage, most of our recruits had never been on the back of a horse before. Didn't matter whether they were from the city or the country, it was unfamiliar. And an additional challenge was that the horses had most likely never been ridden before, had never seen a saddle, or felt the weight of a man on his back. So the first couple of weeks of training were exciting, to say the least. And it took a bit of imagination and work to get the animal and the horseman together so that they could do their job on the battlefield. The cavalry regulations gave regiments a year to train adequately. However, the exigencies of the American Civil War did not give them that luxury, and they were lucky to have a month before they were sent out on patrol and into action. Our troopers will spend most of their day simply riding in formation with the horses, because you have to imagine that if we had a full regiment field, we would have approximately 600 to 900 men and horses. And simply to turn the whole group right and left is a major fiasco if nobody is supposed to do. Therefore, repetition, repetition, repetition teaches not only the soldier, as importantly, the horse. It would get to the point where would hear the command or the bugle call and make the correct maneuver without even being asked. Aside from riding the horse, of course, the troops had to be trained in the use of their weapons. We're having some technical difficulty, but I'll say it again. They had to be trained in the use of their weapons, and they had to be trained in their particular duties. The cavalry were the eyes and the ears of the army. No general could know what the country that lay ahead looked like, or where the enemy might be, or how strong they might be, without adequate intelligence. And the only way to get that would be to send out cavalry on horseback to scout the situation and report back. This was their most valuable function at the beginning of the war, but by the end, they had been trained as a full tactical corps and effective in battle as they were in carrying messages or scouting the country. There are three weapons that the cavalryman is expected to be proficient with. The first is the cavalry carbine. It's a long-range weapon, short and light, so it can be carried on horseback, although in most instances the trooper would dismount to fight with this weapon. It's very hard to be accurate at a long distance on horseback, as it tends to move around a little bit. Trooper is going to form after they return sabers and come into formation. Sergeant, bring the men into formation. Now with 3 horses it's rather easy, but imagine a few hundred, and you can see how these guys earn their $13 a month. Okay, Sergeant, take your men upfield by the road and stand in position. The first exercise is going to utilize the carbine on horseback. It could be used and could be effective at very short range. This is a single shot weapon. Although it reloads rapidly, the trooper would likely fire it, let it drop on it, and perhaps draw a pistol or saber thereafter. Trooper Marv, riding a quarter horse named Buck, who hopefully will not buck, is going to attack one of the balloons on the post. The balloons are approximately the size and height of a Confederate enemy, who we will assume has fired one round from his musket, is trying to reload, and perhaps Union cavalry will be on him before he's able to return fire. The Trooper Marv, engage the balloon. I guess he ducked. The second firearm we were issued was a 6-shot pistol, very accurate at close range, also subject to the same difficulties with a moving horse and a dodging target. Trooper Peter is going to draw a pistol and run down. He's on a black horse named Senator. And most of the horses, of course, avoid this sort of activity the first time they're exposed. But by exercising day after day, they become calm enough to carry their trooper into action so he can do what he has to do. Trooper Pete, engage balloons. Nicely done. Trooper Marv, are you loaded? Okay, that's a Tennessee walking horse named Senator. Smooth and sleek. Trooper Marv will attack the other two balloons on Buck. Buck is a quarter horse from the rodeo. I guess you know what he used to do. But Marv's got him calmed down and pretty smooth. He is firing the original 1859 Remington New Army model revolver. It was new for the time, but a rather primitive arrangement. They often misfire or jam, and we could very well see that today, but if things work well, we'll have two less of the enemy on the field. Trooper Marv, engage. Looks like he's going to run with it. Oh. Had to try the carbine one more time. Are you going to go with pistol? Okay, we'll try that antique pistol on the last balloon. We obviously are not firing live rounds, but the blank charge is sufficient to destroy the balloon if aimed properly. Let's give him a big hand. More for the rider. It takes a lot to ask for the horse, and they did very nicely. Now you may notice a white post on the center of the field. We're going to place cabbage on the post and try to make some coleslaw for lunch.